All right, let's get into my last cycle, technically, that I did that involved any sort of anabolic compounds not too long ago. And before I start, I would like to mention that caffeine and nicotine are part of these cycles. Okay, not that particular one, just nicotine was part of that one that I will describe. But nicotine and caffeine will suppress your appetite, and they will give you more energy, and they will make you think better. So modern society was built on caffeine and nicotine. So I highly recommend it. Now experiment with different ways of delivering nicotine into your body. Currently I am using cigarettes. I started with vapes and nicotine pouches, snus, and I progressed into cigarettes. But I will switch back to vaping and nicotine pouches possibly. Again, it's not an addiction for me really. I can just not operate at a high level without nicotine. Specifically, cigarettes currently are very good for me, except they did make my teeth a bit more yellow. I only started a couple of months ago. But teeth whitening is not as easy to do, so not a problem. If I continue with cigarette use and hoping for AI to help with any medical issues I might have. It sounds crazy to you, but that's a whole nother thing that I could get into. My views on the world. Anyway, the last cycle I did was a great. Started off with quite a healthy diet. Some small rice and chicken with fruit and like walnuts and almond nuts, and I was eating quite very little and just trying to lower my puffiness, right? And I already knew it was not calories that I had issues with, but water from my previous experiences. And so what happened was I got my hands on Arimidex. I was again in Thailand here. It's super easy and affordable to get it, and immediately I lost water retention, a lot of it, almost overnight. Meanwhile, I was ready to do a lot of cardio and I was already dieting, and obviously Arimidex will give you more appetite suppression. So I was smoking cigarettes a lot, so I had that going for me, and then I had Arimidex. I don't even remember if I was using any caffeine at that time. Arimidex also gives you a energy boost. I mean, at least it gives me an energy boost. Quite similar to clenbuterol, but clenbuterol gives you a way higher energy boost. I can say that for sure. Matter of fact, the reason I was on clenbuterol for 3 months was that energy boost. It made me super puffy. Why would I be on it for 3 months? Well, the energy was incredible. I would get up in the morning and I had just so much fucking energy. It was worth it. I was puffy, and I am still a bit puffy from it now, but it's coming off quickly. But it was well worth it. I mean, the energy is incredible you get from clenbuterol. But yeah, Arimidex will also do it, and clenbuterol was not a part of that cycle. So I did Arimidex, and then I started I bought some testosterone cypionate and some masteron. And I started off my testosterone. Actually, it was not cypionate. I think it was no, it was cypionate. But I dosed my cypionate every day because I've worried for water retention, and I guess the dose of my testosterone was way below natural production because I was actually attempting to suppress my production of testosterone. I was suppressing my production of testosterone and providing just a little bit, but very little, and that was meant to help, and it worked to some extent. No aromatization and so no water retention, and then masteron, not a low dose but not a high dose, just feeling out the quality of steroids here in Thailand from pharmacies, by the way. So I started doing that, and obviously my appetite suppression was high and I was eating less and less. I believe I was eating a bag of unsalted, like a tiny little bag of unsalted peanuts, maybe 3 pieces of chicken, small little pieces of chicken from 7-Eleven here, very small. They're wings, 3 wings with no fried butter, and not fried, grilled, and maybe like 1 or 2 eggs. I think, yeah, it was 1 or 2 boiled eggs, and maybe some fruit, like some watermelon, and maybe some tomato as well, right? But very small amounts, and once a day. And I was doing well, once a day, just a very small amount of food, and I wasn't craving food that much. Again, a strong appetite suppression, but I was doing cardio, but on all of this, and I was doing cardio for a lot of cardio, man. 2 hours, 3 hours of cardio every day, 2 hours, 2.5 hours around, non-stop cardio almost. And like medium to high intensity cardio, not bullshit cardio. And I was even trying to do some hypertrophy for no reason. I wasn't trying to build muscle, I was trying to lose it, actually. I even had, and I still have that theory, that any bit of muscle on my body will cause more water retention in my face and everywhere else, and I believe that might be true. Even now I believe that is the case with my particular body composition. So yes, I was trying to actually lose muscle. I just don't care for it. I mean, I already had the muscle I wanted, and but at what cost? My face looked like a balloon, and I still deal with that. I still kind of have a puffy face even now. This is probably the best one. Like, this is close to one of the best results I've gotten. I had better, pre DECA and pre Anavar and pre Vinstrol and pre NMPP, But anyway, and then so that was going on for a few weeks, and then I kind of felt like I hit a plateau, right? And I was trying to do it quickly because I was I was leaving to China for a month, and I just kind of wanted to be as lean as possible. And I also didn't know if I could take my stuff, like some of the things that I was taking, into China. So what happened was, by the way, the reason I came to Thailand was I was doing cycles in London, England, and I couldn't get a reliable source of steroids and compounds in China. So even though they manufacture them, all of it in China, So I decided to come to Thailand just because of it. And the second day I was here, I bought a stash full of stuff: testosterone, masteron, and arimidex. And that was, but I still didn't use it. I just bought all of the needles and syringes and the compounds themselves, and I just didn't use it. You know, for months, for 6 months, until that point. You know, just carrying it with me around. You know, not using it. So I hit a plateau, and I was like, obviously, well, and I kept looking at my body and myself, and I was like, well, obviously, there's no fat here. There just isn't, and but you never know, right? And you also, there is something going on with you take a picture of yourself, and you think you're leaner than you are. It's really difficult to tell, and that's a whole nother topic. It's really hard to tell when you're fat, that you are fat, you know, or puffy in this case. So I say fat, I actually mean puffy. I think. So one of the things that I would say, like, if there is somebody morbidly obese, right, that this is a drastic measure, but the reality is, if you give somebody who is morbidly obese just an estrogen blocker, they will lose a lot of water retention within a couple of days, man. Within overnights, there will be a difference. And I'm talking about weak estrogen blockers. See, I haven't even touched the some of the better ones, right? There's way better ones. I just cannot really find them anywhere here or in England. So not entirely sure where people get them from in the United States, but now if this is, I will probably, regardless of how this channel thing here, I'm trying to maybe coach some of you if you are interested in that. Regardless of that, how that goes, I'll probably be trying out more different estrogen blockers and diuretics potentially, right? Now, diuretics are very dangerous. Diuretics are very dangerous. Do not recommend you take them, but I take them, and I will continue to experiment with them gently, carefully, right? And probably will not experiment with new ones for a long time, because I will rather experiment with estrogen blockers further. I only ever really used two types of estrogen blockers, and masteron is also sort of an estrogen blocker, so that will be a third one. So I wasn't making any progress, and I was eyeballing diuretics. So just to make it a bit quicker, actually it's too long. I will have to split it up again. But yeah, I decided to buy some diuretics, and I decided to buy furosemide. All right, and now furosemide is probably a whole nother video. So see you. Bye bye.